What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me tonight it's the stats man, Chris Gorman. Hit it with the stats, Chris.
Hey. All right, guys. The last time the Oklahoma City Thunder lost to an Eastern Conference team at home at OKC was March 12th, 2024 against the Indiana Pacers.
Oh,
that's a
interesting
sign.
nugget. It's a sign.
It's been 15 months.
And he's got a sign in his yard that says, "Keep off the grass, the Lombard Sturm Krowski." Get that, Joe?
I do.
Oh, you do? No way.
I do. I only put it out when I put fertilizer down, though.
Okay.
It's
Keep on
not
the
to keep
grass.
footprints. It's to prevent.
Is it? Is it?
Is it?
Well, as long
Also,
as pristine. Go
Our
ahead.
takes are no longer lukewarm.
No, apparently they're pretty spicy.
They're
Well,
hot.
we got a fun show tonight. Obviously, we got the NBA Finals Eve tonight. That's great. We'll probably get into some reaction
great.
to viral video, viral take for us at the Box I was on TikTok. Thank you guys for commenting and well, not following. I almost said it. Thank you guys for commenting on the takes. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. NBA Finals Eve. It's here. OKC Thunder versus the Indiana Pacers in the what has to be the league's market nightmare matchup, right? Correct?
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Like no
At least
New
they got
York.
the MVP in it, though, so
Yeah.
they at least got that juice.
They got some juice. Joey's gonna walk us through some topics and some thoughts he had on this matchup, and then we'll break it down. So, Joey, I think we're gonna kick it to you, buddy.
Yeah. Do you guys want to go like one team at a time, or want to do like each kind of category, one team?
I think each category, one team.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
So was trying to find a way to get us in this discussion to keep us organized,
yes.
keep us going, and kind of give us some structure, since we tend to like to wander in our thoughts. So
Wander.
we're like 5 category questions, whatever. We're gonna kind of rip through them here. So first one is coaching. Who has the coaching advantage? So the Pacers, obviously, Rick Carlisle. Do you guys know his nicknames according to Best Reference are Flip or Flipper?
I did see that, and I was like, I've never heard of that in my life.
Never heard him called that, but
Yeah.
he is Flipper.
Carlisle.
23 seasons as a head coach, 993 and 860 record, 53.6%. First 2 seasons in Detroit, then spent 4 in Indiana, 13 in Dallas, and then back for 4 more in Indiana. I did not know he coached before Dallas, so learn that today.
Yeah.
16 playoff appearances in those 23 seasons, pretty good number. An even 50%, 83 and 83 in his playoff appearances, and obviously won the title in 2010-11 with the Dallas Mavericks. He was also Coach of the Year in 2001, 2002, way back when, and he's finished in the top 10 of Coach of the Year 6 times in his coaching tenure. Okay,
Solid.
pretty solid resume. On OKC side, Mark Daigneault, no nickname. Interesting. Not a single nickname listed. Just how to pronounce his last name, and I'm pretty sure I got
Just
it wrong.
Mark.
Yeah, just Mark.
Daigneault.
Daigneault. Yeah.
That's right. You're right. Thank you, Chris. 5 seasons as head coach, all in OKC, 211 and 189, 52.8. The 2 playoff appearances last year and this year, and Coach of the Year last year, and he's finished top 10 Coach of the Year voting 3 times in his 5 years. So pretty good start for Mark Daigneault.
Daigneault. Mark Daigneault. I do like it. Yeah, this one for me, I did feel like this was a pretty significant what do you call it, like a plus for the Pacers here. Carlisle is he's an all-timer now, and we're talking about getting another team to the finals. Chris, did you kind of feel that way too about this, or did you have maybe thinking?
Yeah, it's kind of fun breaking into this. The first question that goes the Pacers' way, in our opinion. What's interesting is Mark Daigneault's 40. When Carlisle was 43, he got fired from the Pistons after taking them to back-to-back 50-point seasons or 50-win seasons. They won the championship the next year, the Pistons, with Larry Brown. But it is interesting that like they were doing well, and they're like, nah, we need somebody better.
Yeah.
And but I love Carlisle. 2011 Mavericks are one of my favorite teams of all time. So that gives me hope that this can be a competitive series. You know, having a guy like him at the helm.
Is there something to be said about the two teams that he's taken to the finals, and that they are up against kind of the odds-on favorites, and maybe not necessarily should have been where they were, and kind of scrapped their way through it?
Yeah, he's taking some oddball teams there, I guess. I mean, that Mavericks run was
repeating.
They weren't quite what they were supposed to be, and then never kind of got over the hump. And to be able to kind of get in that season in particular was a little bit odd, for sure. And then obviously this Pacers team is one of the most sleepery of sleepers to ever come out of the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely.
Who saw this coming? I mean, we can talk maybe more about that, but yeah, I mean, Carlisle, I think this one is of the first categories. I think you get a check mark here to the Pacers.
He gets on the pros and cons. The positives go to Carlisle.
I
think that's fair.
Yeah, he's solid.
All right, we go to championship pedigree then. We'll
Yeah.
probably have a little more discussion as we get through these. Coaching was just kind of the fun one, because I was curious to see how much Carlisle had. So I tried to do Titus's favorite championship pedigree metrics, and then just toss in some other random nuggets that I could think of. So starting with the Pacers, number 9 in offensive rating, 14 in defensive rating, 13 in net rating. Doesn't fit.
No, historically this is
fit
not
the mold. Positives though, Pascal Siakam, champion with the Raptors, 18 and 19. Big star for them, obviously. Big piece of their starting five. They also went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, so they've got a little bit of experience here as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously again we'll touch Rick Carlisle, championship winning coach. On the Thunder side, number 3 in offensive rating, number 1 in defensive rating, and number 1 in total net rating. They fit the mold.
Yes.
What they do lack, though, is much else after that. All they do have is Alex Caruso, champion with the Lakers in 19 and 20. So they do have a veteran piece with finals experience. However, bubble experience, and not a
shots at the bubble.
Shots at the bubble for sure, and not a star piece of their team. Definitely a necessary piece, but not to the same caliber as Siakam. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I went back and looked. I thought Siakam was the Finals MVP that year, and he was not.
No, it's Kawhi, right?
It's Kawhi.
Oh yeah, it was Kawhi. Yeah, I don't know why I totally forgot that Kawhi was on.
Forgot about Kawhi.
I was like, oh yeah, Siakam was. I'm like, no, it was Kawhi, obviously. So I thought, I was like, man, they might have a Finals MVP on their team, but no, they each have a championship.
They have an Eastern Conference Finals MVP on their team.
Conference Finals MVP, yeah, for sure. I mean, they have a Western Conference Finals MVP on their team too. I do think Caruso was a huge piece for the Thunder. I mean, super young team. He's they only have 2 players over 26 years old on their whole team. He's 30. The other dude's 30. I think it was huge to get him. I think he's really going to help them out. Chris?
Yeah. Caruso's, I think, the second most important player on this team.
Ooh, I like this thing.
Like, I really believe without Alex Caruso, they're not coasting. They're probably still winning, but they're not coasting like the way they are. The way he was able to play Jokic, the way he's able to just switch off ball. When Ant was up, when he was guarding Ant got like fidgety and didn't exactly know what to do against a guy like Caruso. He looked different against him. Alex Caruso's the difference maker here. Having Hartenstein too is also like to have another big down there is a big deal. They didn't even have to play Jalen Williams against Minnesota after he went 0 for 6 in game 1. You never saw him again. The center version of Jalen Williams. So what was the question with this? I don't even net rating and championship pedigree.
Basically, net rating.
So to that point, having the veteran presence that OKC has and those 2 guys was really important. The Pacers, they have everybody that's pretty good, I guess. I don't know.
I think, kind of to the point of who we're gonna give this nod to as far as, check this column. I think when you're looking at players that have individual pedigree, I think maybe again you're maybe leaning towards Indy here, where they got the one player and the coach who's won a finals versus just the one player on OKC that's got the chip.
Yeah. So who are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking that, but then I started looking at some numbers, some of the net rating stuff that Joey talked about. So he's number one net rating this season. That net rating is a plus 12.8, which is historic. So the 8 times that an NBA team has had over an 11 net rating, they win the championship 7 out of those 8 times. The one time is the 2015-16 Spurs, who lost to the 2015-16 Warriors. Well, I think they lost to the Thunder, who lost to the Warriors. But
wow,
yeah. So the only other time it didn't happen was the time there was 2 teams with an 11 or higher net rating. Every other time a team has crossed the 11 net rating threshold, they've gone on to win the finals. It's as close to a guarantee as you can come. Guarantee. They also have a plus 10.8 in the playoffs net rating for a total on the season and playoffs combined 12.5 net rating, which currently has them sitting number 2 all time to the 95-96 Bulls. That 72-10 team, whatever that season is. I mean, when we start to talk later about predictions and things like that, we're starting to get into some historic levels here with OKC. So based on that sort of pedigree, if we're adding that into it, for me, I think this one, I think you got to give the nod here to OKC.
What was interesting for me is I tried to look even deeper into Indiana to find a way to understand or maybe find a way to get out of them having such a not bad, but middle of the pack net rating. And I started breaking down by like, I looked at months, I looked at post All-Star break, I was kind of piece it all together because they went on a pretty good run in like January. Obviously they kind of turned the ship, but even post All-Star break, they were still outside the top 10 in offensive, defense, and net rating. So they managed to win a lot of games, but they managed to do it in not as spectacular fashion as Oklahoma City, which is interesting because sometimes when you get to the playoffs, right, winning in spectacular fashion isn't necessarily what needs to happen. You got to win tough, close games. But it's interesting what you said about Caruso, Chris. I kind of think you're right. I feel like Siakam could be the finals MVP in terms of like production, and the Pacers could still lose the series. Like he's not going to win MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like he could have an unbelievable stat line, but if Caruso is completely ineffective, the Thunder are going to, I think, struggle trying to find a way through it. So I'm kind of leaning OKC, even though there's not much there in terms of like actual pedigree, but the net rating is hard to ignore. It's really hard to ignure.
The numbers are too high.
They're too high.
They're too high, man.
And I think, like you said, Chris, this is kind of like, or Joey, I think you said it was kind of my pet stat that I love to look at. I feel like I've kind of ignored it a little too long, how high that number was. I just felt like there was just a second run in the playoffs just seems weird, like to break all the way through. But I think that the chips are kind of falling here in a way that is setting up here for OKC to kind of run away with this. And
there's a thing that Phil Jackson, do you remember he always said that if you're gonna be a championship winning team, you got to win 40 before you lose 20.
Yeah,
the Thunder still have not lost 20 games this season. Like they might not. Like
they might not. Yeah, they're 18, right? So yeah, if they go a 5-game series, they don't lose 20 games all season. That's crazy.
So are we across the board OKC here?
I think so.
Okay, 1-1.
1-1. Still close. Will the series be 1-1? That's the real question.
Well, we can get there.
We'll get
3 more questions. Starting 5. So I was going to try and do this one. I was going to try and see if we could come up with the matchups for the starting 5. How this is all going to shake out. Okay. Who's going to defend who, on both sides of the ball here. So I'll give you guys Indiana on offense and who's guarding them on the other side, and then you guys can kind of piece together what you think is going to happen. I struggled the other way around, maybe not struggled, but wasn't as clear cut. So
Too many options the other way around.
for Siakam, I put Chet on him. I think Chet's going to probably draw that assignment.
Sure.
Was my kind of gut feeling. Neesmith put J-Dub.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Turner has Hartenstein. Or Hartenstein has Turner. SGA is going to be on Nemhard.
Yep.
And Lou Dort's going to make Tyrese Halliburton's life and going to try and make his life miserable.
Yes.
So if we flip that, does it go kind of the same way the other way around?
They're probably starting Neesmith as long as he's not injured on Shea.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's probably the only difference. But I think it's going to be obviously a combination of Neesmith and Nemhard, maybe O'Connell or something on. I mean, well I guess starters wise, it just be those two guys. But
my biggest curious point is how much does OKC try to make Halliburton work on defense? Because if they let him hide on Dort, I feel like that's not hide, but if they let him have an easier assignment on Dort, does that negate the impact that Dort can have on him on the offensive end? Like, is Halliburton going to have more energy, more ability to be impactful if he doesn't have to play as much defense?
It's possible.
I was trying to think of a comparison so far that they've done where they've brought somebody in to work, and I couldn't quite think of one.
I'm curious if maybe we see, especially in closing lineups, be Caruso out there, where they don't lose too much defensively, and if you're trying to hide Halliburton on Caruso, now he's got to recover for the 3-point shot a little bit more than he does for Dort. And does that maybe make him, work a little bit more? I think, maybe this changes the subject a little bit here, but I do think the Siakam Holmgren matchup is a plus for the Pacers. I think Holmgren's shown to be a little bit slight at times, in the post, and I think Siakam he needs to handle some business down there if he can. So,
do you think if Caruso comes in, he finds himself on Siakam, and they sit Hartenstein and put Holmgren in the middle for Turner?
Yeah, that might be the other thing that happens there.
Because Caruso could easily play Siakam, not easily, but I mean he can play him.
Yep. Yeah, and then you still have Dort out there, and then Dort's on like a Nemhard or a Neesmith. Yeah,
because out of that group, Hartenstein's the first to go.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Going to drop somebody, you're going to drop Hartenstein because Miles Turner doesn't need necessarily a big man, right?
Yeah, he's really a stretch at that point too. Yeah.
Now, if Chet's on him, he should go in there and he should pound him.
But then I think OKC they might like that. They might go, get the ball out of your role creator's hands, get it to try to like Miles Turner in the paint. Yeah, it's fine. We'll live with that. Yeah,
we can live with Miles Turner getting 8 points in a quarter in the paint. No big deal.
I think maybe the reason why you kind of struggled there, like you said, the other way around is that OKC just has a lot of options here defensively. I mean, this is who's the bad defender on this team, man? Jesus.
Yeah. It's obviously harder. It's going to be much harder for Indiana to guard OKC.
Yeah. Without fouling.
Who gets the SGA assignment?
Well, it'll be between Nemhard and Neesmith. So maybe just say Nemhard to start.
Let's see.
I think because Neesmith's a little longer, so you would need him on J-Dub.
Yeah.
But then Halliburton's got Dort. So it matches up pretty
kind of almost
solid.
Goes pretty clean.
You see the matchups, but Shea's just so much better at playing basketball than everybody else on the court, feels like.
Yeah.
I didn't write down bench, but we can mix that in here. Who's got the better second unit? So you got Caruso. It's a big number, big name.
Yeah.
Got Mathurin, TJ McConnell on the other side.
I think
he's on Wallace for the Thunder.
Yeah. Jason Wallace. I think Indiana's got more guys they can pull off their bench. I think OKC's got the better guys. I think Caruso off the bench that's huge.
So Indiana has more options. Oklahoma City has better options.
Yeah.
And Indiana's center, they don't really have, if they had a backup center.
Yeah, I think
they'd be really, they were playing Tony Bradley, which that's kind of
cool
stretches name. I'm looking at their depth who they've played this year. They've tried Jahlil Okafor, former second overall pick. James Wiseman, another former second overall pick. He had a torn ACL after like 5 minutes. Moses Brown, who's played for Dallas. Isaiah Jackson, I think, is hurt. So it's tough, man. And like OKC, like I mentioned before, Jalen Williams, the big one, he didn't even play in Minnesota. He's gonna play again against Indiana. So it's just they have so many guys. I hate this. Kenrich Williams is pretty good.
Yeah, he's a piece.
He's a guy.
He's a guy.
I got some guys.
I think this is another one where I gotta give a nod to OKC, but I feel like it's a slight one if you're looking just at the 5.
I'd like to say it's closer than you would think.
It's closer than you would think. I agree.
Right, like.
Yeah, when you just look at them standalone, I think you go OKC easily. But when you do the matchup and you try to like set them up one-on-one, you're like, okay, well, there's some potential here for Indiana to have a shot. Like you can talk yourself into how they're going to have a chance at times in this.
But I also think we can kind of maybe get into this more when we talk about predictions. But I think Indiana is really going to have to tighten up their rotation. I think they need to go, all right, we got to find the 6-7 guys we trust. And we're just going with them because we can't have Siakam and Halliburton spending a ton of time on the bench. I don't think this is going to work.
You think? That's interesting.
I think that's, and I think, we'll get into more predictions. I think that's the mistake they're going to make. I think they're going to go, this is the way we do this. We're a 10-man rotation or whatever it is. And I think that's the mistake. The mistake is just, hey, we got to push everything in right now. We got, 7 games. We got to win 4 of them. So.
Interesting.
But yeah.
So Titus, you got OKC
in the series or in this category? Yes.
Yeah. So we're OKC across the board.
We're OKC here.
I think that's fair.
I feel like we'll see. I want to tip my hand to the next category.
I didn't leave any room for half points. So we got it.
I like it. There's 5 categories. We'll divide them up.
5 categories. All right. Next one was call it star power, it factor, and clutchness. Definite words. I really ended up focusing mostly on clutch here because kind of seemed to be a thing of the playoffs. So the Pacers in the regular season played 843 minutes of clutch time.
Oh, that feels like a lot.
Equaled 70 quarters.
Feels like a lot.
Whoa.
On the other hand, what made me look at this stat was I was like, man, I got some good stats for the Pacers in clutch time. I was like, can't find anything. But it's because Oklahoma City played 331 minutes or a total of 27 quarters. So they barely played in clutch games, which makes sense when you look at their plus minus.
Yep.
On Indiana, though, they only had 2 players with a negative plus minus during clutch time in the regular season, Ben Shepherd and Isaiah Jackson. However, they only played 23 total minutes combined of those 843 minutes. Very, very minimal here.
It's not bad.
Overall, though, Siakam was a plus 1.6 and averaged 1.8 points on 49% shooting in the clutch. Halliburton was a plus 2.1 and averaged 3.1 points in the clutch on 47% shooting. So
we're talking about 2.1 versus 1.8 points
per game in clutch, in clutch situations, though.
All right.
So you're talking, within 5 points,
small sample size,
and 5 minutes at the end of the game. But I found it interesting though that of all those minutes that they played, they managed to be their 2 stars managed to be leading in positive plus minus and were shooting what they were.
Yeah.
In closing games out. Oklahoma City, on the other hand, SGA plus 1.5, averaged 3.3 points. So we can already see something going on here, right? 47% shooting. And J-Dub was flat. He was a net 0 and averaged 1.6 points on 47% shooting in clutch. And after that, on OKC, it drops off a cliff.
Wow.
An absolute cliff in the clutch. So what I was trying to get to here for conversation was, if you think there's going to be close games, or do you think there's going to be a chance for close games here, which team do you end up trusting more? Who do you think has the better go-to player at the end of a game-winning shots? Obviously, SGA is the MVP, but Halliburton has shown us this playoffs that he has the clutchiest of clutch genes.
So I'm looking at it this way: if there were if there are 7 clutch games, I believe the Pacers can win 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
I
if
like
there's
this.
7 close games, I say clutch games, I meant close
Yeah.
games.
Close games.
Pacers
The
can win 4
clutch
of
and close
them.
are the same. I mean, they're
And that's how they can maybe win this series, is just those final 2 minutes, a ball bounces weird, goes in. SGA being like the only clutch guy. Did I hear that correctly for the Thunder?
Yeah. Those guys get tight.
Jib's not bad, but I mean, he's not taking as many shots, and the usage was down, and the points are down. Shea is the one doing it all when it comes down to
J-Dub's
it.
playmaking is something to be desired. I don't. Yeah, it's just
Something to be
Pacers
improved
have
on,
more.
Chris. Make it a lukewarm take, okay?
That's why he's good. He proved it in Game 4.
You guys heard it here first. J-Dub sucks.
Playmaking
Chris,
is terrible.
I wanted to, but he just slayed.
You guys, J-Dub sucks.
No, but I like the play for a clutch factor. I like the Pacers more. I give it to the Pacers.
Yes.
You know, when we look at this big picture, the Thunder don't play close games.
Yeah,
They're
I think
front runners in the best way, like in a secretariat sort of way.
Yeah,
you know, of front running, where they're just so far beyond better than everybody else. So,
I'm 100% with Chris. I think this is the recipe, right, for Indiana. Let it get close or keep it close, and beat these guys in the final 2 minutes, because if we're looking at like the star power, it factor, who's got that clutch gene? For me, it's Halliburton. I know Shea's been awesome in the clutch too. He's not, I mean, he's no knock to him, right? I just think Halliburton's game is a little bit better suited for the clutch. He's made play after play in this playoff run, shown he's not scared of the moment. I think driving right at Giannis, having the one where, you know, the 2-pointer, toe on the line, choke sign in Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. The guy is just doing it this season. Man, like a game one, if a game one is tight in OKC, that's when it gets interesting, is if you give Halliburton a shot in the last, 10 seconds of a game. Do they have possession down less than a bucket? You know what I mean? What happens?
Yeah. Oh, let's not forget too that we've forgiven OKC because they beat Denver. They ended up getting out of that series, but they could have been crucified for their ability to not play in the clutch in some of those games. And what they
guess what happened in Game 7?
Choked up to Aaron Gordon, right?
Yeah, I think that's the counter argument.
That's been their MO all playoffs, though, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
just
when they're up big,
people.
it's over, right?
Yeah.
If they put the hammer down, it's done. There's no getting back. But if you can keep it close, you've got a chance to make it.
I think maybe the counter, that's the counter there, is maybe did that Denver series like grow them up, season them enough where they got through the test, through the fires, and now they're not going to be as nervous in those situations. That's maybe the argument for OKC. I also think the finals is a huge stage, so who knows? And then I also think OKC doesn't shoot the 3 ball a ton. They shoot it well, but just not a ton. And is that an area where if Indiana can just get hot in one of these early games and steal one, does that make it where it's interesting going back to Indiana?
I never got to it. Found the corner 3 stats that the Thunder give up, but I've heard and seen that they're notorious for letting the corner 3 be wide open.
Yeah.
And as we saw Nesmith do against the Knicks.
Yeah. 6 in a row there.
6 in a row. So
can he do it again?
This one's weird for me because I think like it factor, I kind of feel like the it factor goes to the Pacers. I think the clutchness goes to them. I think star power goes to Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris is spot on, is that if you end up with 7 clutch games or 7 close games, let's call it within 5 points, I could see Indiana winning 4 of them.
Yeah.
I think better coach too. Like the coaching is going to make a difference if they're stuck in those positions, because they've proven it time and time again this playoffs.
Yeah. Just stagnate, make a dumb decision.
Yeah.
It's always possible, but
I like Indy in this bucket.
Yeah, in this category. I like him too.
Yeah.
The question is there going to be a game that's within 10? So
right. A game.
A game. So is there going to be a game? They need one of those first 2 to be a close one that they win. So I mean, we can get to the next category here if you want. But
Well, let's just move it on to predictions.
Yeah.
It's wide open. If you want to call number of games, if you have a thought like Titus did, I didn't put anything for this one. I said let's just free discuss this one.
We discussed
Free
this
ball.
one.
So Chris, give us your prediction
Yeah,
for
good feeling.
Oklahoma City.
Initially when I saw it, it's like, oh, Thunder in 5. Everything I've been reading, hearing, been listening to a bunch of pods about this. Everyone's just Thunder in 5. It's like a plus 190. It's not even that like.
It's not even a juicy bet.
No, it's just the favorite. Thunder's in 5. So for that reason, I want to go. Okay, I've been trying just to like find a way to make this Pacers in 6, Pacers in 7. I looked at pacing stats. I looked at history. In history, the Pistons when they won in 04, I think, or 03, after Carlisle was fired, they beat the Lakers. But the Pistons had an historic defense. You know who has an historic defense in this series? The Thunder. Like, who has the star power? The Thunder. Who has the pace? The Pacers. But also the Thunder. So it's like any way you look at this, it's the Thunder. There's no logical point. But the Pacers have been doing things that are logical too, right? They've been winning these crazy games. 98% win probability for the Knicks, and the Pacers win. So I want to say Pacers, or I want to say Thunder in 6, but because that's in Indiana, right? That would be Game 6 in Indiana. And there was a comment on one of our lesser viewed videos where when I said that the Timberwolves, I thought they had a chance because they won Game 3, but there was like a Shea press conference saying like, "Hey, we just wanted to bring this home and win it at OKC, right? And give it to the fans." So if that logic is true, they're going to lose Game 6 on purpose to bring it home for Game 7. So OKC in 7.
OKC in 7. Wow, you're not hearing that pick a lot. That's good.
No, Titus.
All right,
let's hear it.
I love Chris's idea.
That Shea's going to throw games.
That they want to win at home. I think they do want to win this at home. I think that's why everybody's picking 5 games. Because also the Thunder are young, and I think they're gonna lose a game at some point here in this series. Having said that, this is going to be a mob job. This is a sweep. This is a sweep. I am going to be rooting for the Pacers as hard as I can all series. I think they're going to get destroyed. I think this is going to be 4 quick ones. Unless OKC says we want to win it at home. So my pick is OKC in 4. I think this is a sweep. Okay. I don't think it's close. I'm sorry.
Joseph?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to be the fanboy in me. I'm going to let it ride in the Central Division for us here, Midwest.
No, he's not.
I think the Thunder. My head tells me they're going to win this game or win the series, right? It just makes sense. I do think they have the ability to get rattled. We saw it once against Minnesota.
It's possible.
We saw it multiple times against Denver. We saw it once against Memphis. They ended up winning that game, but they were down real big. It took John Morant falling down and hurting himself to get that game. I feel like if Indy gets one of these first 2, I feel like they could get 3. They could get 4. Yeah. Indiana seems like one of those pure grit, pure just like full momentum team. Like when it's going for them. And like if you give them a little bit of hope, like they're going to push through. Like they weren't supposed to win their first series, right? They ended up doing that. They weren't definitely supposed to beat the Cavs. And then they ended up beating the Knicks. And like the only reason Thibs, jump ahead. The only reason Thibs lost his job is because he lost to the Pacers. If they would have lost to the Celtics like they were supposed to, he probably would have kept his job. But he got to that round and it was like, yeah, it's the Pacers. You should win this, right? They've overcome it all. So I'm going to be really stupid and just for fun. And I really want it. Do I necessarily 100% believe it? No. But if I was betting something, I would do it for fun. I'd say Pacers in 7.
Wow. Okay.
In 7.
think
in 7 in OKC. I mean,
in
yeah,
OKC,
the
you're gonna go and they're gonna rattle
Let's
them. Everyone's gonna be
go.
going cooking. You want me to say
Let's
Pacers in
go.
6? I'll say Pacers in 6. You want it, Chris?
He doesn't care. There's no chance.
Oh, I thought you were
of
going. I
six.
thought you were going to say Pacers 6.
Pacers
I,
in 6.
I want it to be a really good series, and I want Indiana
I
to
do
win.
too.
Yeah.
I just want it to be entertaining and like
We'll give you 6
Oklahoma
and
City-
7. We'll give you
Oklahoma
both.
City.
Yeah, we'll give you
It's just
both. You're
ridiculous.
picking
I just got the
Indy. You
Pacers.
get
You can have it.
6
I just got the
or
Pacers.
7.
You want 5? You can have 5
Yeah,
too.
you got
No,
the
no, no.
Pacers straight up.
Oklahoma
We'll give you
City is
odds.
going to have like 3 more shots at this with the team they have.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that too. Yeah, but
Yeah, shot like this is probably
the first.
like they got to the conference finals last year, and everybody thought, oh, they're not going to go there again. Well, they did it, and they went one step further. So like they're kind of cashing in the checks.
Yeah, this is their shot.
they
And
now or never, and I feel like the desperation, they're going to know it.
Desperation factor in game 1. There could
Game
be some
one.
desperation game 1 factor. Yeah.
I would say,
If they get game 1, this whole thing is on its head.
well, that was going to be my one note.
Yeah.
I think this is a must win for Indiana game 1.
Yeah,
I don't.
yes.
You cannot drop game 1. You need to win game 1, a la like the Cavs when they lost to the Warriors, and LeBron looking at J.R. Smith. You cannot give up that game. Game 1, you got to get, because you got to set the tone of like, hey, look, we can win.
Right.
And, if you don't do that, I think it's a wrap. Yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to say. I had it something. What were we talking about before?
It slipped.
It slipped.
Joey likes the Pacers.
Joey,
Like
So-
the Pacers.
Joey knows the Pacers probably aren't going to win. Joey also likes the Bulls, so let's just
Yeah.
keep that all in perspective here.
I mean, it's a must win, but game 1, I think.
All right,
I mean,
so we tied 2-2 in the 4 categories, then predicted kind of you guys. Titus slam dunked it.
Yeah, I think
Chris talked himself into making it competitive. I talked myself into being competitive in the
We
wrong way.
progressively got more,
more
like crazy with it.
Yeah. Chris like, yeah, it's gonna stay
Chris
close.
was like,
It could be a
reasonable,
chance.
yeah.
Titus is sweeping them, and I'm like, nope, other side Pacers. Okay.
You know, the funny thing is, I think if we all were realistic about it, it would be OKC in 5, because it just feels. I mean,
That's
OKC
the-
5. OKC
that's-
at 5 is
yeah.
easy.
but that's just
Easy take.
the boring take.
That's
Like,
too easy.
It's too
okay?
easy. It's too
That doesn't
easy.
get any views. If you
It
post
doesn't
that
get
out.
any
You said
views.
Pacers in 6 last round. We were right.
Sweep.
That still got like 1,000 views. That was, come on.
The sweep them. I think that, man. I think they're gonna just destroy them.
I don't think.
But no, that was the last point. I think we may look back at this as like the start of a run, like Joey was saying. And I think right now it maybe might seem a little bit weird if they were to, like how heavy of a favorite they are. But I think if we, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, we're looking back and like, oh yeah, that was the beginning of a historic run, because what they're numbers wise, what they're doing and where they're at, it's up there with the 90s Bulls and the Warriors. So
The 90s Bulls, though, what's crazy is that those 90s Bulls, it was the second 90s Bulls. It wasn't like the 90-91 Bulls, right? Or 90.
Oh, I mean, they're in the mix. So I looked up the top for the top total playoff net ratings. I think 4 of them were Chicago Bulls teams.
Okay, so some of the early ones
Yeah,
too. Because
it
we
was
always
early-
talk
it was the
about the
90
second half,
Yeah.
the second three-peat Bulls
Well,
teams with these historic runs. But
Yeah, I think they
what
remind me
about Horace
most.
Grant,
Yeah, Horace Grant. That's what they remind me of. The 91 or the 90-91 Bulls,
Yeah.
where they hadn't gotten over the hump, but then when they finally did, they were just, it was their time. I mean, this feels early for OKC, which is maybe even scarier.
I'm
Like,
terrified.
yeah,
As a
they might
Bulls, like a fan, it just
have missed a
God
shot.
damn it.
That's what happens, man. And then, a little too early to do a coronation, but if they do win it in a fashion that is deserving of it, we might talk about the coronation of this team and of this franchise. So,
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe we're hopping on the mics after a game 1 shocker from Halliburton. That'd
Oh,
be
man.
fun. I'm
That'd be-
kind of
that'd
rooting
be
for
good.
just an awesome series, even if it's a 4-game or 5-game series. Just an awesome series
Just has some craziness in it.
would be fun.
Yeah.
So
I just hope nobody follows SGA as much as Jaden McDaniels did. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah. Too soon.
miles
Yeah.
and quotes.
Been long enough.
It's been long enough.
Been
You
long
lost.
enough. Hey, speaking of long enough,
What was that?
I'll say, speaking of long enough, can we segue into
Yes. Oh yeah.
Tom Thibodeau? We can start there.
Yeah, let's start there. Tom Thibodeau fired from
Relieved of his duties.
Relieved of his duties from New York. Obviously, this feels like the move that New York was going to make, not listening to Chris and trading Jalen Brunson. So,
yeah,
but who knows?
Who knows? It's still early in the season.
Rick Brunson is an
Brunson.
assistant coach on this team. Is the new coach going to want him still?
Don't you dare steal my take from pre-pod.
Sorry. Dang it. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Go ahead. Just finish it off. Let's go.
That was it, right? Because but if Rick is the head assistant coach anymore, does that mean
they might not have to trade Brunson and build around Cat? They might just naturally have to do that because Brunson might not want to be there.
Yeah,
could be natural. Also, the Knicks are going to get what they deserve in this. Just like the Bulls got what they deserved when they let Thibs go. They got They got absolute disaster. The Timberwolves chose Ryan Saunders.
Yeah.
How'd that go for him?
Not true.
Not so great. And the Knicks. Thibs revitalized the franchise, and they're going to find somebody better.
Finals, Eastern Conference Finals trip in 25 years is not anything to.
I also think there's a handful. There's a handful of players on the Knicks that are going to find themselves without jobs or free agents or cut or whatever you want to call it. Josh Hart, like that dude is meant to play on a team coached by Thibs, and a coach that comes in and is not all about rebounding first and that being your number one heart, hustle and muscle being your number one responsibility, and then that turning into you making some 3-pointers kind of thing. Like, so I think there's going to be some shuffling in New York, and I think it's going to be tough. I don't think this is going to work for him.
I don't understand why Josh Hart can't become more of a Alex Caruso type. Like, does he just not have the quickness and the lateral quickness of Caruso? Is there something physically missing?
He's bigger.
Sneaky athletic.
He's bigger than him.
He focuses more on boards though than lockdown defense. It feels like.
Yeah. I just think it would have been an easy sell if they lost early, right? If they lost round 1, or if they just got absolutely embarrassed by Boston. But they didn't. Yes, they got kind of embarrassed by the Pacers, but not terribly. Like, it just didn't make sense to me.
I like Thibodeau. He does feel like a coach though that has a ceiling. Like, he's a floor raiser, but there's just a upper limit to what he's gonna do because he's just gonna run his system. He's gonna run his stuff. And I think there was some. I think he also did get out coached in this Indiana series.
And what I think kind of did him in is he's probably the first coach, not the first, but anytime you see a coach play more guys in the playoffs than they did in the regular season, it's a big red flag, right? And Delon Wright looked great. Yeah, he should have been playing. Campaign at his moments. Where are these guys doing regular season, Thibs? Why are you playing Michael Bridges 48 against Charlotte?
And I think that is a red flag. And then when you see these guys coming in, especially when they were in maybe mop-up situations too, towards the end, the guys nailing threes. It's like, hey man, maybe you guys needed that. And if their guys were tired, and I don't know, man. I just think, but the real question too is who are they going to get? I mean, I think that's where Joey might be right. I don't know if there's who's coming in to save this team.
I like Jay Wright. I don't even know.
Yeah, I heard that name, but I love that.
I think it's tough because you've obviously had Thibs there for long enough a period that the culture of that team has been built around what he does, and the natural reaction when you fire someone like that is to bring in the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And if the guys on that team are so bought into this grit and drive, you're going to have to sell them on the new way or try and be like, hey, I'm actually that guy too, even though they know they're not. And I just have these terrible visions of Thibodeau to Fred Hoiberg, the Bulls, right? I mean, it's exact right. They went away from a hard-nosed grind to soft, kind of player-friendly. What do you guys want? And it was terrible.
Is that why they went to Boyland after?
Yeah. They let Hoiberg go after 2.5, 3 seasons and brought in Boyland, who was already on the bench. And that lasted a season, and then Billy Donovan, the third longest tenured coach in the NBA now at this point.
The other name I hear is Michael Malone, which is kind of like
That seems like a no-brainer.
a softer Thibs, but
Yeah.
pretty much the same kind of style, same coaching tree, I think.
I
Better
think that's
beard, Thibs.
interesting. I think that's interesting. Mike Malone for sure. I really do like Jay Wright. I don't think he wants to do it. I don't think he would do it.
I saw Meta World Peace said he wants to do it.
Oh, there you go. That'll work.
Sure.
He did.
Is he an assistant somewhere? I don't
He
even
wrote
know.
a really long post on X Twitter about it. It was pretty.
Wow.
Give him a clipboard.
It's bad.
Let him go. I'm sure Cat will be.
Hey, what about
great.
Budenholzer? Coach Bud.
Coach
making
Bud,
his rounds. He's making his rounds.
That's it feels like a tired reach. Malone, that's like hey, he just won a couple years ago. Let's get him.
Malone makes sense, and then he turns Cat into Jokic 2.0. Hot take.
Uh-oh. The hub, that could be something.
I think Malone's probably where they're going to go. They're going to go make the big name.
That's got to be what it is.
The easy one.
Well, I heard there's one of their bench coaches was Johnny Bryant.
Yeah, he's like interviewed.
And he was the name being floated for Phoenix. And once that came out, Thibs got fired like 4 hours later.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just timing, but like they could do something boring like that.
Man, if they do that, no other moves, that feels
that.
Weird.
They can't
I think it would kind of make sense, to be honest.
It would make a lot. I'm sure it would make a lot of sense.
But... And continuity.
Yeah,
it was the first year of Cat. Like
you don't keep the assistant coach.
Yeah,
you don't keep the assistant of a guy who's been there for 5 years. It just seems weird because you basically have the same coach, unless you can somehow. I guess Memphis.
It probably depends on who they bring in.
Polarizing presence, though, right? Like he's a one of one.
Be interesting.
Yeah, it is weird.
I really don't think though that if they would have lost to Boston, he would have lost his job.
No, I think he would have lost it too.
I think the only chance of him not losing his job is if he had gone to like 6 games against OKC.
Yeah,
honestly, he could have lost in the finals in 5 and would have been fired. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think no matter what, they would have looked at it like
just wild because they overachieved this year. They definitely overachieved.
Dude, Mitch Rob played 13 games.
Yeah.
And it's just they didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a good
bench wise.
Did they overachieve or I mean, like after the Cat trade, I think people were thinking this is a conference finals team, depending on the lineup. You know, I mean, nobody really saw.
Yeah, but once the lineup shook out, and then I think once the bracket, I mean, they fell on Boston's side of the bracket. Like they beat Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's maybe the thing that's throwing.
They beat them. They beat them handily. It wasn't like they snuck past them. You know, they got lucky a few times. Like they beat them.
They beat them. I wonder how many people are going. That was just bought. Like, did Thibodeau get credit for the Boston win, or was it like no? Boston just was.
Yeah, clearly
imploded.
He didn't get credit for it. He just
and then they were gifted this conference finals appearance against Indiana, and everybody thought they were going to the finals.
Yeah, that's
exactly that maybe kind of what happened.
That's why the Knicks fans were so excited because they thought they were gifted. Oh, we got Indiana in the conference finals. We're going.
Yeah, we're going to the finals. We just beat Boston. What are you guys talking about? And then Indy was like, nah, not today.
That's what happens when you try and build around Brunson. Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Is this
because I wanted him on the Bulls?
Is this the only offseason move here, or does a Brunson or Cat get traded? I mean,
I don't think a Brunson or a Cat gets traded. I think a Bridges gets traded.
Bridges needs to get signed.
I think you think
Bridges needs to get signed.
I think you see like 3 of the players not named Brunson or Cat get traded.
Wow.
I think there's a clearing.
You think OG could be on the move?
Yeah, I think they're gonna try and make a run for a big name like a Durant. They're gonna do something stupid and try and.
I bet you together. if you did a poll on Knicks fans, like the majority or maybe like 55-60% would trade Cat for Durant straight up. I don't know if that works out.
That seems dumb,
money wise, but I feel like there would be a lot of people that'd be like, "Yeah, give me Durant over Cat. I hate Cat."
What about Cat for Giannis? I know that's been kind of floating.
Yes, of course, dude. Stop it with these for Giannis deals. Everybody wants Giannis.
That's who they want.
Any deal for Giannis is a done deal, except if it's like Jokic for Giannis. SGA.
Even then, you kind of think about
it. And then you're like, I mean, there's
Yeah, no.
Yeah. All right. So, but
I
if
mean,
you're the Knicks,
Knicks had
would
Giannis,
you?
if the Knicks had Giannis, they beat the Pacers.
Yeah.
And they
If I'm the
probably
Knicks,
beat the Thunder.
I'm calling. I'm going. Hey, who do you
Of
want?
course. But there's so many better packages. If Milwaukee should not trade Giannis.
Milwaukee's not
No,
trading
they
him.
shouldn't. They shouldn't.
That rumor was hot for like 8 hours, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they squashed the hell out of that.
I call and ask. Cat, Giannis, who says no? Guys,
Yeah,
come on.
I think Bridges was. I think they're
He
going to.
signed for
I
4
think they're going to
years.
regret the Bridges move. Obviously, they already do because he didn't live up to anything.
Dude, like that hit piece that came out against Cat and Thibs, it's like, where's Bridges? Where's OG in this? Like those guys did not show up shooting wise.
Is that maybe where you look at the Thibs thing and go like, hey, these guys, you needed to either not play these guys, the minutes they were playing, or do something different because it clearly wasn't working. And is that maybe why they're trying to put this on Thibs, because what they gave up for those two guys in particular?
Well,
I thought OG played great. Yeah.
I mean, you can't fire players, so what do? You fire the coach. When
Yeah.
the front office makes decisions that look good on paper, they don't work out. You fire the coach.
Yeah. True. Thibs is the unfortunate scapegoat. Where's he going? Does he get another job in the NBA?
ESPN.
I think he takes like a year or two off, then he finds his way back in. I think he's going to sit for a little bit.
I think maybe he comes back as an assistant, but I actually don't think he's going to get another head coaching job. I think people are going to look at this as like okay, obviously he's got this ceiling, blah, blah, blah. And I just wonder what team is going to give him a chance. Like what type of team? Because it's not going to be a team that's like, oh, we need that guy to get us to the finals. Is it going to be like a team with some young players that they're like, we need to get the most out of it? Like,
I was gonna say, if he wasn't already in Minnesota, I could see Minnesota. Like, I feel like he would be a good influence for Ant.
No,
Chris' face.
So you see Chris, like he obviously can't come back to Chicago. No, I know. I kind of like
Charlotte.
I can see him pushing a young player to kind of get there. Charlotte would be all right.
Charlotte. That's actually
New Orleans,
Orlando. Ooh, New Orleans. No.
It's not going to be somebody. It's not going to be somebody who's on up and up.
It's going to be like a Washington.
Washington. Yeah, it's going to be somebody who's like, we need to establish some sort of identity and culture.
The Mavs defense wins championships.
There you go.
They're like, get out of here, Jason Kidd. We need
Anthony Davis's knees will never be the same.
Yeah,
for real. Yeah,
run him into the ground.
That's a good one. Well, happy finals eve.
Yeah, finals eve
Pacers
tomorrow
in 7.
Night. Any big plans? You guys gonna just lock into the game here? And
I've got a T-ball game till 7:30, so I will be home right as tip goes.
Oh wow,
nice.
Be perfect. Looking forward to it though.
Order a pizza or something. Get kind of wild and crazy.
Order a pizza and get wild and crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's not time to get wild and crazy yet.
I guess we should save it for the closeout games, or one of our teams making it would be nice.
Indiana.
All right, boys. Anything else tonight?
Do we want to talk about our viral moment?
Sure.
Yeah, if you want to talk about it.
I just want to touch on, like, when stuff like this happens, I feel like we should save a segment at the end for moments like this.
So proud we were acknowledged.
I don't know. I kind of want to talk about the fact that, like, when you make a point about potentially wanting to trade or suggesting that Jalen Brunson should be traded, to be met with that much feedback, it feels like it goes beyond more than just like it's a bad take. Right. So I was thinking about this. Like, what if I had said, the Detroit Pistons should consider trading Cade Cunningham and building around Jalen Duren? Would that, that wouldn't get the same amount of buzz, I feel like, because when people hear Brunson, I feel like there's a line of truth to it where people do understand, like, his defense is a problem.
Yeah.
He's doubling down
and, like, hey, I don't think he can actually win, because that took off way more than I thought. And, like, I don't know if this is going to get clipped out, but we need better comments, guys. We need something better than tax the podcast equipment. We already bought the equipment.
Yeah.
If you're going to tax the equipment, we already have it. It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. Focus on your 9 to 5. I have a 9 to 5. Yep, my manager at my 9 to 5 literally saw the video and slacked me about it during work, saying spotted. So that was funny. we just need. My point is just
Chris
give
wants
me
to
better,
have a debate, an honest debate about why the Knicks shouldn't trade.
I
Jalen
think-
Brunson.
or just funnier comments. There was one
Yeah.
comment that was, "This
better
take is almost worse than the shirt. This shirt, I'm still gonna wear this shirt. I
It's a
love
Hall
this
of Fame
shirt.
shirt.
I also love that comment. So it's kind of stuff
That was
like that
funny.
is what I'm looking for. So is the take bad? It's not the best, but it is like it is something where you kind of think about it like, okay, it's not you're gonna get some people to actually think hey, maybe they should, but ultimately I don't actually
I do love your point that there's a nugget of truth in there, because that did feel, the way people came out at you, it did feel like you hit a nerve with them. Like you hit something they're self-conscious about. They're like, yeah,
right, yeah.
We
We
get
get
what? No, he's
personal too.
fine.
I'm like,
They can
guys, I
win.
don't know you. Like
Yeah,
you
I
don't know
know you.
me. We don't need to. Yeah.
I just thought maybe look at the on and off numbers. Maybe we should think about it. Like
We
he
could have a
just shouldn't be.
discussion.
Yeah, discussion. It just shouldn't be it shouldn't be a hang up. You know what I mean? So let's see maybe what we can get.
Talk me out of it.
So,
Yeah,
talk
They're
me
going
out
to
of
talk
it.
you out of it.
Nobody
They didn't
talked
talk
me
you
out of it.
No. They just told us our mics were too cheap. You know how much these
That's
cost.
cool.
Yeah.
We've been a podcast for 5 seasons. This was before the tariffs.
Right. We bought these on January.
We bought these right before in a looting insurrection.
We started this podcast on January 6th.
We did, technically.
Intentionally. The James Harden trade.
The James
That's
Harden
true.
trade was shortly
the first
after.
one.
The
Right,
first
from
one.
Houston to
The Houston to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
It was COVID. Things were different.
Yeah,
We actually didn't have these mics.
It was
when
the
first
we were a
recorded the
bubble podcast. Yeah, we were. Yeah, we didn't have these. We were a bubble podcast. No, I think they come with some better comments on our shitty takes. I think you're right. I see a million podcasts are cheap. Anybody got a podcast these days? Yeah, anybody could start talking
But you
to a mic.
don't. We do.
Tough guy. Yeah.
At least we try.
Why don't you say something stupid? We've been
That's right.
an hour a week. We got time to fill, guys. You know what? We're gonna say something you're not gonna like. I'm sorry. You know
Plus,
who doesn't
Bulls
care?
fans. We're just filled with
Us.
stupid shit.
Yeah, we're
We've
Bulls fans, man.
we've suffered along with you. Okay, we're here to
Everybody.
we're here to join.
Yeah, we traded Jimmy Butler.
my favorite
He didn't
comment
have
that
all-star potential. That's right.
Yeah.
I need to get out just because I loved seeing it. One guy wrote, "Jesus Christ, the fact that we even give this airtime with a clown face." It's like you commented on it, bro. Like
Yeah.
you
Also,
took the
give it
time.
airtime. We pay for our airtime. All right. We can
I
say
said
whatever
you
the
even
fuck
gave
we
it a
want
comment.
to.
Appreciate the engagement. Like this is what drives engagement. It's so God. I don't know.
amazing.
The sports talk world
Yeah.
is
Just so you know, we pay for service. We can say whatever we want, and we can post it wherever we want, and you can say whatever you want back. And that at the end of the day,
keep it coming.
anybody can have
coming.
a podcast.
It's
and
fun. Like
that's the joy of it.
I am comfortable enough to not take it personally.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me 10, 15 years ago, maybe it's different, but I'm a little more seasoned.
You'd be typing it other way out.
Yeah. I'd be
Actually, if you think about it,
Well, I
it's
spent 4
not
years.
crazy.
I spent 4 years defending Zach Levine. All right, like we can say
It's
whatever
true.
the hell we want to.
It's
on
true.
this.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be defending Julius Randle after this contract.
That's right.
extension,
There you go.
so.
Yeah, as soon as this
As soon as
boy,
this Supermax
they
gets signed,
back
you'll
it up
be-
for him. Ooh, that'd be fun. No, I think they could beat OKC. If
So I really wanted to, man. Thank you, Joey, for taking
Hey,
that
we're
one
gonna
out.
get some Indiana love.
Yeah.
The Knicks haters are gonna.
We've
be
gotten Indiana love
worse.
before.
yeah, we are
Just doesn't
pro
get as many
Indiana
views
podcast.
as some Knicks hate.
Well,
because Indianapolis sucks. Try that one. See what that one. See what that does.
Aggregated.
Aggregated. Box out, boys. See Indianapolis sucks. Thank you guys. Be sure to subscribe, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
Follow us.
Trouble
Don't
follow
just
here and there, I don't know.
don't just follow. Don't just yell at us on the internet.
if you want to, you can. That's fine.
Yeah,
too.
you can't believe it. I mean,
Yeah,
yell at
but-
us. That's for sure. That's fine. Please yell at us. But then, go, hey, you know what? I'll help out.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, guys. Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on social media at the Box Out Boys. Slide those DMs and comment sections. Ooh. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. We'd very much appreciate that. So until next time, Box out.